Hello, guys. Hey, I'm Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran, here to talk about Sausage Fingers Dan Slott. I guess the rumor on the street is Sausage Fingers Dan Slott is going to be picked, I guess, or given the option or contract not renewed at Marvel, however you want to look at it, to go work on Superman. This should be a real big deal, but maybe it's not. And I guess that's kind of the point of the video is I don't know if this is really anything that is really worth anybody's concern, unless he's going to go do something radically weird or block fans, go on a big blocking spree on Superman fans if there's not a diversity character he throws at people, or even if he's not even handling the character, if you just don't like what DC is doing somewhere with a certain type of agenda-based character being pushed or narrative, he can block you and then say, don't buy my Superman book, even though you're not even talking about Superman. That's kind of the history with Dan Slott. And I'm kind of curious about this in a lot of ways, because Dan Slott, the last time Dan Slott's really been relevant, and people are going to say, well, there's the whole Spider-Boy thing, Shane. People care about that. Do they, though? Do they? That's what I say. Do they really care about that? The last time Dan Slott, to me, has really been relevant is the Disney episode 7, The Marvel Method, where basically Dan Slott fumbles around and can't write his script, bumbles up the deadline, and at the end has Christos Gage come in and basically do the work on an Iron Man book. I think it was an Iron Man book. And then magically everything comes together. Tom Brevoort's like, this guy's crazy, which, by the way, him and Tom Brevoort go way back. So I kind of wonder like how Dan Slott's going to fare without an editor owing him a favor or hooking him up at DC Comics. Will Christo Gage also get him a contract for DC Comics? I'm not even sure he got a contract, but will he get equal billing up under Dan Slott when he has to come in and finish his work on all the beautiful Superman books? I mean, the reality is I've read some of Dan Slott's stuff, and I kind of think it's serviceable in a fun superhero book sometimes, not all the time. And sometimes I think he hits his mark. I think he's good with cheesy bad guys for what that's worth. I liked his Arkham run or Arkham Asylum run he did. He made up a bunch of new bad guys and basically DC killed all of them. But I like how he thinks of kooky supervillains. So look, Superman has a fair share of oddball supervillains, I guess. Can he encapture the Man of Steel, what Superman represents? And to be fair, I don't know if DC Comics has encaptured what Superman represents or the character Superman. It's a hard sell, to be honest. Superman is a hard sell. And that's why seeing Dan Slott, I mean, guys, forgive me if I'm lost, but does he have any star power anymore? If somebody in the comments can enlighten me on that, does Dan Slott have a push and a pull to make Superman sell? It seems like for DC Comics, they maybe need to go outside of comics to pull somebody in for Superman. I just don't really get the vibe there's anybody working in mainstream comics right now that has a vision for Superman, I guess, or a lack of agenda for Superman. The problem with Superman, I feel like everybody's trying to make an example out of him or use him as a microphone to preach to us about illegal immigration. I don't know anything, basically. It seems like I mean, he can be the character himself can be hijacked for political motives. And I'm not so sure where Dan would be in that spectrum. Oftentimes I see Dan pushing for other woke ideas or woke creators, or talking down the fans, or just blocking fans. And I just don't know giving him Superman. I understand DC Comics has to get somebody on this character. But at this point, if you're going to go hire what I'm going to consider like B-level, what's considered A-level talent, basically meaning like Dan's kind of rode nepotism through a lot of his career, then why don't you just take a chance with somebody new at that point? There's been writers that come in and they do well kind of not being superstars, but they become breakout hits. I think Snyder was one of those guys at one point in time. You know, he'd only worked at Vertigo before he got Batman and the New 52 and then became Snyder. I just don't know if it's almost like it seemed like it would do better in my honest opinion, just to try fresh talent. Because what have you got to lose? You know, you're not going to pay some crazy superstar talent. You're not going to have to get in a bidding war to get him away from Marvel. And I hate to say this, as far as new talent goes, they rarely ever have any leverage at all. So negotiating and getting a decent page rate, and look, they should get like paid for writing Superman. But the comic industry usually ends up at an advantage when it comes to new talent, money wise, anyways. I don't know if I would go as far as to go to TV people at this point, anybody, and just beg them to give a fuck about Superman. Maybe just ask James Gunn, do you want to write a Superman comic? I mean, writing a comic isn't a lot of headache necessarily, especially if it's just a 6-issue arc or something like that. I don't know. It's like I just don't see Dan bringing anything to the table. I really don't. If anything, he's taken from the table. He's taken all the potato salad with them sausage fingers. But if you guys haven't, and you're curious about the way Dan works and the competency of Dan Slott, go check out this episode. You can find it on Disney Plus. You might be able to find it online. It is an absolute train wreck. And actually, it seemed like it was a hit piece by somebody who told him this was a good idea, but it would really frame him as like this giggly, bumbling, bloated, bearded, very feminine, incompetent guy being given a lot of power. I can't explain it. It's crazy. Everybody in it really has zero good things to say about Dan. Everybody's up under the weight of his incompetency, and he even in the video seems like he's preoccupied with Twitter, social media. And I don't know if the comic industry has waken up and realized you do not need another Twitter social media shit poster star to work on your book. If you guys will, please go check out. Also, we've at 9 Lives Comics, Inglorious Rex, our beautiful book, over $256,000. Also, we've added some new books to our shop. These ship out next day. We have an Inglorious Rex 1 cover by me. We also have some dinged and dented copies while supplies last. Now, these are good reader copies. They got some scuffs or misprinting errors on the cover, like scratches and stuff, or just ding corners. But all the pages are there and all that. If you want a cheap copy before they, while supplies last, there's not many of these. But we also added a new Inglorious Rex cover by me here. You guys can check that out. And we also have Extend added to our store. So if you guys missed out on the campaign, you can still back a copy, or I'm sorry, not back, but purchase your copy of Extend along with an art book by Shane Davis. And again, guys, check out Inglorious Rex funding $256,000. I'll leave you guys with a trailer for this smash hit comic and catch you guys again with another video. Bye.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. Truth always hurts worse. Doing good till first, reverse, now you last. Blast of the past. It's cool though. Last card, play it right. Uno. We never let up. Been down forever. Sick man, we fed up. Know that we tired. Wake up the beast that's been sleeping inside. It's time to ride. We ready to slide. Hard-headed, I will not listen. If you do not get it, that's your bag. Keep up in the sky like we see you feet up. Metal meets metal, it's no keeping up. Sniper division, it's no seeing us. This here